Read it for me. Medical workers of Reddit, what were the most haunting last words you've heard from a patient? My pop died of lung cancer. The last lucid thing he did was wake up just long enough to sing, "Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. I had a little drink about an hour and it went right to my head." It was really pretty amazing and freaky at the same time. Working caregiver in my earlier days, I overheard an old woman console her husband dying. Went like this: "Damn it, Jim, you've beat so many things in your life. For heaven's sake, you beat that murder charge for that guy you killed. You can beat this." She didn't know I was listening. Dude died the next day. It wasn't last words, but it was a haunting death. The person who was a DNR, though her and her family's wishes. She was losing her battle, and her family wasn't there. She was getting frantic and looking around, half sitting up in bed, and a nurse with more experience than me took her hand and calmly said, "It's okay. You're not alone. We're right here with you. It's okay to leave." The patient immediately calmed, put her head back on the pillow, and died. I knew I wanted to be that nurse when I grew up. How the hell did she just know what to do and say? I've never forgotten it. My mom passed away a couple hours after I told her I'd be okay and that it's okay for her to go. I've always hoped that I was able to give her the peace of mind she needed to let go. With wide eyes, "Don't listen to my family. They want to keep me around forever, but I just want to die. They won't let me." Edit. She wanted to get off dialysis, which was a death sentence for her. Nurse, in hospital caring for 40-ish man with brain tumor, coming in and out of consciousness, not to be resuscitated. His 16-year-old daughter was crying nonstop for 12 hours. His wife, who had been given a few months to prepare for herself, was calm and focused on her husband. I had to routinely check on his level of consciousness, which involved talking to him in a loud voice, response to auditory stimulation, which I did not like to do. So I asked his wife to do the voice part, so the voice he hear would be hers, not mine. She did so without hesitation. The only response we observed with her vocalization was that this, by now profoundly unconscious patient, took her hand to his lips and kissed it. He stopped breathing very soon after. I am haunted, but not in a bad way. I'm an emergency nurse, and there's one thing that always gets me when patients die. Not what they say, but what their husband slash wife slash parents say when they're gone. I've had it a few times, but the most memorable was a man in his 70s whose wife had just passed away. He was holding her hand and crying, and he just looked up at me and said, "I loved her for 55 years. She's my whole life. What do I do without her?" It breaks me every time. ICU nurse here. I related to this so much. Had a patient in her 30s who was dying after being hit by a drunk driver. Her husband was at the bedside repeating, "What do I do? What do I do?" while crying. They had already lost their baby girl in the accident. Every healthcare worker who entered that room was deeply affected by that. It was awful. Nursing home. Most elderly people are at ease as they get nearer and nearer to death. But this old lady, as she deteriorated over her last week or so, would scream, "I don't want to die! I don't want to die! I don't want to die! I don't want to die!" Really heartbreaking to see. "Can I smoke in here?" "We were on an ambulance." "What'd they die from?" "Suicide by pills."